Hi, I'm Lesley Logan, co-founder of OnlinePilatesClasses.com, and today I've got a 20-minute full body workout on the Pilates chair for you. Welcome to OnlinePilatesClasses.com, the most supportive Pilates-loving community across the globe. Enjoy new weekly classes from our amazing teachers. Download the OnlinePilatesClasses.com app today. All right, so I've been teaching since 2008, and when I found out about the Wunda chair, I was obsessed. And so as a second generation teacher, which just means that my teacher was taught by Joseph Pilates, one of the things I love to do is get people on the chair because it really can challenge your Pilates practice. Another thing I love about the chair is that anyone can have one. It doesn't take up a lot of space. You don't have, like a reformer takes up a lot of space, right? A Cadillac takes up a ton of space, but everyone can have a chair. And the first piece of Pilates equipment I ever bought was a Wunda chair. Before we get into this workout, I just want to talk about what chairs are going to be accessible for this class. So this is a classical Wunda chair by Contrology. You can also use a combo chair. You can also use an exo chair. There are chairs by so many brands. So if you wonder if your chair brand is going to work for this workout or you have questions about it, you can put it in the comments below. I will answer those questions on Sundays at 9 a.m. Pacific time when I go live here on this YouTube channel. The Malibu chair and chairs kind of like that. Some of the exercises will work really well and some won't. And so again, just put in the comments below. I'll answer it on Sundays live. And finally, if you don't have a chair yet, or you don't have access to one in this moment, go do my full body express mat workout here on this channel. It's a great workout that you can do without having a piece of equipment. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so you never miss a workout from us, a tutorial from us, information about how Pilates can support your life. We drop one every single Sunday. All right, let's get into this workout. So I'm going to start with one top, one bottom spring on my chair. The way the Wunda chair works is you've got to find the spring settings that work for you. So if you have questions about that, feel free to comment below. We're going to sit on top of this chair for footwork. So you want to sit pretty close to the edge, but you still want your whole pelvis to be on the chair, all right? Then heels together, toes apart. You do not have to start with the pedal closed. It's not how the chair works. It's not kind of like the reformer. Hands can be by your sides or layered is ideal. I actually really love to put them behind my head and we lift the heels nice and high. We push the pedal down and lift it up as high as we can without shrinking. So how tall can your back be? Now, the key thing you want to think about, it's not about how far down it goes, but how high up it can come without shrinking your spine. Let's do 5 more. So I'm still pushing into the pedal, even as the pedal rises up, so that I can feel the back of my legs stay on. Then, with the pedal up, switch to your arches. Squeeze the knees and feet together, wrap the feet around the pedal, and you push down. So same as our footwork on the reformer. Right? And we're just working the legs. If you can't push your legs together here because of the way your legs are shaped or it just doesn't feel comfortable, go ahead and put a ball or a block between your knees so you can still be parallel and hugging towards each other to work the midline. And again, pull the pedal up while pushing down into the pedal. It's an art. And then come onto your heels and do 10 more. Work the inner heel onto the pedal. So something you may not know is that the chair is a bit more advanced as an apparatus than any of the other pieces of equipment, because look at how small my mat is. The surface area of this chair is smaller. So whenever you see a piece of equipment and you look at the size of it, it kind of tells you how hard it's going to be. All right, let's come off of there and then let's turn to face our chair. So we're going to do this Achilles stretch first. You take your fingers, index finger and thumb together like a diamond. You place it on the front of the chair. You place the ball of the foot on the pedal and then the knee over onto the edge of the chair. And you want to kind of get like on the bone of that knee, like the tibia right there, and you point and flex. And we're not resting on our arms. We're still rounding our back, so we're not looking up, right? We're looking towards the chair. And the goal here is to feel your feet connect to your seat. So you're just pushing down into the ball of the foot, lifting your ribs up. One more. And then lift the pedal, take the foot off, the other foot comes down, and then you place the other foot on. And again, press and lift, press. If you're like, Lesley, I don't feel this connecting my feet to my seat, let's talk about it in the comments. Or if any exercise you're kind of like, is my setup right? I don't know if I'm doing this right. Again, all of our bodies are different, heights, sizes, shapes, and then our chairs are all different. So what I love to do is kind of demystify what you should be doing for your body in your practice. One more. All right, lift the pedal up. Then stand either, you can stand as close to the chair as you want, that's easier, or no more than a foot distance away. I kind of stand half of my own foot distance away. Hands can be on the hips or behind the head. Place the ball of the foot on the pedal, and now you push the pedal down. So we're still, sometimes your chair speaks to you like that. We're still on one top, one bottom spring. If that is too heavy for you, you might be on like a 1-2, like a bottom middle. 2 more of these. Feel your standing leg working more than the spring leg, and then switch. So sometimes we think it's all about the spring. It's not. It's actually about sometimes what's not moving the spring. If you can close the spring here without hiking your hip or knocking yourself forward and back, that is awesome. But if you can only get up most of the way, that's fine too. It's more important that you're working with the spring than getting pushed around by it. All right, then we turn to the side. Heels together, toes apart. I'm pretty close to my chair here. And now I take my foot up onto the chair, turned out the way it was on the floor, and I do press down side. Now, of course, I'd love if you could close the spring without hiking your hip. But that takes practice, right? And if you're new to working with your chair, you're new to this exercise, please be kind to yourself. So I'm hugging both legs together so the standing leg is working as much as this pedal leg. Sometimes a little bit more. And then we're going to stay here. We're going to take our feet to the back edge of the chair, parallel, and then cross your outside foot over. Now, if you have to lean in to make this accessible for you, that's fine. Make sure your foot's parallel on the pedal and flat. Push the pedal down to start, and then square your hips off, okay? Hug this outer hip in. You can even have this hand on this outer hip just to make sure that you're like, it's there, and then push down and up. And I like to think that my thigh is going side to side rather than up and down. Woo. So you get a stretch of that hip, but then you have to work the hip, and you're pushing to the pedal the whole time. All right, now we're going to turn around, do the other side. So start towards the center of your chair, heels together, toes apart. Inside foot goes onto the pedal, and then with your hips nice and square, push the pedal down, really get that inside hip to drop down, and then how high can this pedal come up while you keep your hip down. 3 more of these. Check to make sure your shoulders are out of your ears. Hug both legs towards each other, and then lift the pedal up, come to parallel, closer to the edge of the chair without being too close. You want the pedal to hit your calf. Put your outside foot on the pedal, pull it down, pull that outside hip back, and pump the pedal. There is a bit more zest on this crossover than the front and the side. Whew. Double check, is your hip going forward with your thigh, or can you pull it back? And then lift it all the way up. All right, so now we're going to the pull-ups. I do love the pull-ups. So you're going to take your hands to the back of the chair, take one foot to the pedal, press the pedal down. Super important that your hands do not leave the chair when your feet are on this pedal until you close the pedal all the way, okay? We're still on that one top, one bottom. If you move to one middle, one bottom, you may want to move back up because you want support of the spring. So you bring the shoulders over the wrists. I like to pull my chair wide apart so my elbows do not lock. Heels together, toes apart, and toes on the back edge of the pedal. And then you round your back from your center, not your shoulders. And then without leaning forward, right, we're already over our wrists, we stay there. Lift your waist to lift the pedal. And see how high you can bring the pedal, and then push the pedal down. And again, lift the waist to lift the pedal, and then push it down. So we're not trying to bottom out and rest and hop up. We're literally pushing down into our legs and our arms and lifting up with our waist to lift the pedal. If it's going well, you take one foot off the back a little bit and you do 3 on one leg. The leg does not have to go super high behind you. Switch after 3. It's just back there. And again, don't take it off if it means you have to flatten your back or lean forward over your wrists. And then hold at the bottom. One foot comes to the floor. Leave your hands on the chair. Lift the pedal all the way. Take your foot off and then your hands off. Whew. Okay, so now we're going to do some stuff on the chair. We're going to change the spring to a middle, just one spring in the middle. If that feels too light, make it one spring at the top. If that feels too heavy, go one spring lower. All right, this is where you get to play with your springs. And you're gonna lay on the top of the chair and place your hand, we're on one hip, place your hand on the pedal, underneath your shoulder, legs stacked. Okay, we're doing some side sit-ups. So again, got questions, the pedal didn't lift in your pull-up, drop it in the comments below. Take your top arm on top of your leg, and then without letting your shoulder come in your ear, push into the pedal and slide your body up. Right, I'm like kind of reaching my hand for my feet, but I'm still lifting my legs up, and I'm only coming up as high as I can reach into the pedal. So the pedal is not pushing me around. One more. Okay, then we're gonna switch sides. So turn around, hip in the center. If you struggle with this, like the legs were kind of veering all over the place, something I like to do is either grab a friend and stand on my friend's leg or get closer to a wall so my feet could be into the wall. Sometimes you just need to close the chain back there. And again, reach. So I'm hugging these legs tight together. And we're working with the spring. I'm not closing the pedal. I don't even know if that will ever happen because I might lose my length. It's actually just like, how long can I get as I slide up and down? And then come all the way up. So only do 3 to 5 of everything because on the chair, it really, well, in Pilates in general, it's all about quality over quantity, but especially on the chair, the exercises are so hard, they require so much. 3 to 5, max 8 is really great. Now come onto your stomach for your Swan. This is where you may want to change the spring. You may need a little bit more support or less. So now shoulders over the wrists, find a spot where you are parallel to the floor. Now, if you're shorter than me, you may actually not get the pedal to the floor to get your chest parallel to the floor. I'm a very long person, so I can be here, but you might start with the pedal up, and that's okay. Once you're in a long line, spin those inner thighs up, push the pubic bone down, and then bend your elbows back 3 times like you're doing a supported push-up. Oh my gosh, if push-ups could be like this, I would do them all day. Hold it there after the 3rd pump. And then with straight arms, you pull the heart forward. The legs do not drop down, but they also don't lift up. They just reach out behind you. You lift your chest. You lower the chest and you pump 1, 2, 3. And then pull the heart forward, shoulders back. And again, we pump 1, 2, 3. If your hamstrings are burning, great job. Sometimes we get so obsessed with like the extension here that we aren't realizing it's a full body exercise. My inner thighs and my hamstrings are working so hard so I can actually pull my heart through my shoulders. If that's going well, take your right hand towards the center of the pedal, not in it, but towards it, and take your left arm out. Woo, we're gonna sidewind a little bit. So you get to feel your legs like a rudder, squeeze them so they can stay straight behind you, and then pump the pedal 3 times on one arm, and then reach that arm out to the side to straighten you out. So I use my arm that's reaching to the side and my legs to straighten me out, like almost like you got 2 rudders on a ship. Again, 3 pumps, 1 lift, and then switch sides. You're gonna quickly find out which side is your stronger side and more connected, and that might give you a lot more information about what's happening on your mat practice or your reformer. A lot of times people are like, oh, I love reformer Pilates, I love mat Pilates, I love chair Pilates. It's all Pilates. We just have access to different apparatuses to help challenge our connections. Bring your pedal to the floor or down. Take one hand to the top of the chair, take your feet to the floor and lift the pedal up with the other hand, then both hands on the chair and come up. All right, push down from the back. So a little counter stretch to what we just did. Heels together, toes apart, toes touching the back of the chair. Depending on your chair is how much space you'll have between your thighs and the chair, right? If you don't have an edge like me, then you kind of guess what the edge is based on where the corners of your chair are. And then we take our arms up, we round forward, and the thighs are going to stay where they are, meaning if they are touching your chair because of the way your chair is shaped with you, then they get to stay that way, but no resting. Mine are away because they're about a foot distance away, so I have to round up and over my chair without leaning forward. So how can you lift your ribs and push the pedal away and lift your ribs and close it? Lift your ribs, push the pedal away, lift your ribs and close it. One more. And then lift your arms up by your ears to stand all the way up. Whew, that's so good. It's so yummy. It's hard, it's tough, it stretches your back, it works your legs, we just did, right? So now we're gonna go into our table and our tendon stretch. We're gonna go back to a top spring and a bottom spring. So if you did a middle bottom on your other ones, you might like that for this as well. But table is gonna challenge the muscles we just strengthened in both of our Swan, and then we just stretched a bit and challenged in our push down. So hands back behind you, heels together, toes apart. Try to keep the pedal up as you lift your hips up and forward. And then notice, did you lean back? It's so hard, right? It's almost easier to lean back because then the pedal can hold us up. But what we have to do is get our shoulders over the wrists and then take our hips forward and up, reach the tailbone for your knees, and then pull the pedal up. So a lot of people like to think about the down. Again, it's that up, 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 and then take a rest, shake it out. I love to combine that with tendon stretch. So we're gonna do tendon stretch again, then we're gonna come back to table, tendon stretch, table, tendon stretch. It's a fun little series, okay? So now we just work the back of our legs, we stretch the legs to straight, we have straight arms, our head drops down, we look through the legs, and you lift your ribs. So it's a little harder than the pull-up because it's a tighter shape, but you just keep lifting the ribs. Go ahead and rest. Depending on your height, you might want to put a block underneath the pedal to bring the floor up, because if you're shorter, it's just gonna, the top of the chair is high. So you gotta raise the floor, all right? So go ahead and go back to your table, heels together, toes apart, and now try it again 5 times. Pull up and up. Use some zest. And then lift the legs, go onto the arches, push it down, and lift. Now, if your legs are not touching the chair when you sit up, they don't get to touch the chair as you move. We're definitely not resting. So even if they're touching, you're not leaning into the chair to lift the pedal. You know what that feels like. It kind of feels like you're leaning back. Last set. Someday, we'll do it single leg. Ready? Lift the hips up and pull the pedal up and up. 3 more. Drift your hips more forward and then close it. Ooh, I love when I shake at the dismount. Oh my God, it means we found something new. And then arches on the pedal, squeeze together, lift the ribs. Ooh, lift the ribs. Here we go. Lift the ribs. And rest. Oh, let's get you off those wrists and stand up. Okay, so we'll do 1 middle spring for your push down. So we did push down from the back. We're doing push down from the front, heels together, toes apart. And you don't want to be too close to the chair, but also not too far away, okay? The arms come up, you round forward, and then without leaning back, right? So maintain the hips over the heels, push the pedal down. Let the shoulders find the back. So I kind of let the spring push into my shoulders, push them on my back, and I double check, are my knees locked or long? There's a difference. Does the weight feel like it's on my heels or the balls of my feet? Find the weight over those arches, and then you bend your elbows back, you try to close the spring, and you push 1 and 2 and 3. Hold, lift the ribs, try to close the spring with straight arms, and then push the pedal back down and pump 1 and 2 and 3, and then lift the ribs, close the spring, push it back down, and pump 1 and 2 and 3, and lift. Close the spring, both hands come off simultaneously. Now, for the fun of it, let's do 2 bottom springs, or you can do 1 top if that feels too heavy. If you struggle with the roll up on the mat, this is a really fun way to play with it, okay? So again, heels together, toes apart, arms go up, you round forward. It's a heavier spring. Push into the pedal as you lift your ribs up and pump 1. Do you feel the difference? 2. Now do you feel your center working away from the spring? 3. Lift. Oh my God, don't let the spring push you around. Push it down to 1
and 2. Work the back of the arms, lift the ribs. 3. Straight arms, lift the ribs, push it back down. And again, 1 and 2 and 3, and lift all the way up. Lift the arms. Okay, do you feel how much you had to work and stand on your legs? Now switch back to one middle or one top. If the middle felt way too light, but you don't want to go that heavy again, here's our last thing together, babes. See if you can feel the same connections you made, because that's the goal, right? 3 pumps. We use the springs on all the different apparatuses to teach our body the connections we need on the mat. Lift the waist. If you struggle with the roll up or teaser or rolling like a ball, this one's for you. Pump 3 times. Something I love about teaching the Wunda Chair at onlinepilatesclasses.com is that every single month we release a new 50-minute workout, and you can submit yourself doing an exercise to get feedback if you're using the right spring or not. Lift the pedal all the way up as you finish that last one and come up. So I love creating this for you, and if you had fun with it, let me know in the comments below. If you have questions, drop them down. But ultimately, something that's really important is just getting eyes on your practice, okay? And the best way to do that is if you are a member of our group, we can actually provide feedback for you and homework and exercise that you should be doing. Maybe the pull-ups are not in your practice yet, but what could be? We can support you that way. In fact, all of our members at onlinepilatesclasses.com get to share their aha moments, get to share their questions. Their questions inspire the workouts. We actually have classes on the mat reformer, tower, and the Wunda Chair. Every single month they actually have the same theme for the 50 minutes, and then every Tuesday we drop a new mat and reformer 30-minute workout, so you can have more of an express workout. But everyone's taking the same class during the same calendar period whenever it works for them. Why? Because we know you're busy, and we want you to make sure you have still the beauty of an on-demand workout when it works best for you, but the support, accountability, community, and eyes on you when you need it. So if you want to try that out, check us out at onlinepilatesclasses.com/YouTube. We'll also put the link in the show notes below. And finally, thank you so much for letting me share this workout with you. Again, the chair is one of my favorite things. A lot of people are always wanting a home reformer, and I'm like, if you can't afford a real reformer, let's get you a good Wunda chair, because a chair like this does not take up that much space. You can shove it in the corner, and you can do a full hour workout on it all the time. We do it at OPC. We love to offer this for you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and subscribe to this channel for more Pilates workouts, tips, tutorials, and answering your questions.